Welcome back to the podcast. I have a special guest. His name is Zo Guzman, and he's based out of LA, California. He's all about equity sponsorship, and he has raised over $6.7 million in the last four deals. Welcome to the podcast, Zo.
Thank you, brother. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. One thing that I ask all my guests is your purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing today?
Yeah, I mean, I won't go too deep into it, but
Yeah.
my why, honestly, and it's very short and sweet. My why is I am looking to, or I want to date my wife again. And
Oh,
basically, what that why means, brother, is, as you can see, I got grays. I'm a little older, but I'm still young. I still got the energy and vigor. I want to take back time. That we've lost, I want that
yeah.
quality of life. And this community and what I'm doing is allowing me to get there. And we were young parents. We had kids very young. So when you have kids, you tend to kind of get well. It's it's we give all our time to our kids, basically, right? And
Hmm.
it also
Yeah.
affects the relationship a little bit. So now that my
Yeah.
kids are older, starting their own families, I'm still young. I have this platform, I have this opportunity, I have this great community. And I'm like, you know what? I want to date my wife again. I want to have the time to do the things that I want to do. So that's kind of my
So, you-
why. That's my motive.
so you're pulling a Jared Norton in this case.
Is that his? That's all he's. I stole his wine. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, he likes to date his wife all the time, which is
There
awesome.
you go. So yeah, me and Jerry have a lot of things in common, along with Puerto Rico. So that's cool.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool, Zoe. Like the reason why I brought you on this particular podcast is because I actually want to learn a lot from you. You've been doing this thing called equity sponsorship, and for people that don't know what that is, can you kind of explain, to me again what that actually means?
Yeah, so basically the nuts and bolts of the program that we're looking to scale is, you have individuals, investors, borrowers that are looking to get their projects going, right? So they're looking to
Hmm.
go and get funding from these lenders. A lot of them are third-party lenders, and they go and ask for, let's say, $10 million for the project, whatever the project may be. The lender's going to go through their underwrite and say, this sounds pretty good, but do you have any, what's your skin in the game? Like, do you have the capital required for this, to support this line of credit or this funding? So what they do is they come to me, and then I will fund and raise the capital needed, the capital required
Yeah.
for the funding of it. But the way I raise it and the way I place it and secure it is only through escrow, and it stays in escrow and it seasons and it doesn't move. So that's the security part of it. The money
Okay.
stays in escrow, never leaves. Like a traditional PML where money comes in, then it goes right
Yep.
to the borrower. Here it stays. It'll season at a max 120, and then by us doing that, the borrower will secure its funding. Funding goes through escrow. We pull our capital back that we raised, our principal, along with our return, which right now we've been able to secure 30% returns to our money partners. So pretty lucrative.
Wow. Okay, so you said 120 days that you're going to be holding your money in escrow so you can
At the
season
max.
and the max. Okay, that's basically 4 months,
Yeah.
and for 30% return. Wow, that's kind of crazy. So how does that tell me the mechanics? Like, I put my money into escrow for a particular deal that maybe your borrower needs. How how do I get money? Like, how does this all work? How do I get paid? How does the or the borrower get paid? Like, what's currently going on with all that
Yeah.
situation?
So basically, it's more detailed. I'm kind of give you the
Yeah.
30,000 foot view. But
Yeah.
basically, what happens is Mr. Borrower goes to the lender.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Lender says, "Hey, you want this money? You got to show me how much money you got, right?"
Right.
Then there's a lot of contingencies that we need in place before we even open up escrow to fund it. We fund escrow, we'll raise capital, and we invest our own capital as well. So, we're looking to take advantage of this passive, opportunity to make some really
Sure.
good, robust returns. So what we'll do is we'll form a SPE, a special purpose entity, for
Okay.
an LLC just to fund this escrow opportunity. We're bringing the partners in. We'll all go into the LLC
Oh.
together. Yeah, we'll fund the escrow account. We have our escrow instructions and our agreement that are pretty much our holy grail when it comes to
Yeah.
securing our capital, as in any transactional lend, as an EMD or whatever it might be, right?
Right.
We make contact with the lender, also with title and escrow. We submit our escrow instructions. They are approved. Money sits in seasons. And what we do is we want to turn it around 90 days. That's actually the date for maturity, is to get it
Okay.
funded within 90. But we offer a 30-day buffer in case there's some things that we can't control. Maybe something has to be recorded. There's a
Hmm.
transactional piece that takes some time, right? So we do offer the extra 30, but it does come at a steep price. There are some fees and fines. Like, again, we're just
Okay.
trying to incentivize the borrower and the lender to like play nice and get it funded, right? That's
Right,
basically
right,
what we're
right.
doing. And if you want to tap into that extra 30, it's going to cost you. So that's the reason
Okay.
why I say max 120, but we're performing around 90 days. So it really is a 90-day
Okay.
program.
So when you put the funds in escrow, you're doing it on the behalf of the borrower, right?
Correct. As a
And
gator, as a
as a
transactional lender.
gator, right? As a transactional lender. And then that shows liquidity. That's why you're a liquidity sponsor, right? Or equity partner, equity sponsor, excuse me, to the actual lender that is actually going to be lending on that transaction, whatever
Correct.
that may,
We're funding the
who that
trend.
may be.
100%.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So we come in, we fund it. Again, we're transparent. So it's none of this like screenshot. Here's my 1.5, and the money really
Mm-hmm.
isn't there type of proof of funds. No,
Mm-hmm.
we're putting it in there. We're seasoning it so that the lender can see that the money it's there, it's solvent, right?
Mm.
And then we fund it. And then also the folder that we funded under does show the borrower's name. So it's all funded on their behalf. And again, we're fully transparent. So we tell the lender, hey, this is who we are. We're gators, we're transactional lenders. This is
Oh.
what we're contracted to do. So there's no hiding anything. It's all transparent. They're
Oh.
okay with the way we're setting up the account and how and what our purpose is, I guess you can say, in the
Oh,
transaction.
really?
And knock on wood. So I don't want to jinx me in that
Yeah.
it not work anymore. But yeah, right now that lender we're working with is okay with it, and we're moving forward, and we're looking to scale it and bring actually new lenders on as well too, and other borrowers as well.
Okay. So I'm a little bit also like amazed at how this whole transaction is working because like as a lender, like a hard money lender or like a conventional lender that sees you as providing a service to this borrower, and basically as a lender, I'm lending in regards to the seasoning period of the funds being escrow, but I know that once it's seasoned, you guys are going to be leaving. How, and then also taking your fee associated with the that process. How does that make the lender usually feel with the borrower? Because basically, as a lender, I'm like, okay, he doesn't have the money, or she or he doesn't have the money to actually have liquidity in the deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you, and I get that question a lot as well too. And we've actually been very open and transparent with the lender that has allowed us to do this. Again, like this is what we are. We are contracted by the borrower.
Uh
We
huh.
have no affiliation with the borrower. Again, as in an EMD with a wholesaler and title, right? I'm not the seller. I'm not the buyer. I'm
Right.
just a gator. That's all I do,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of how we describe it. As of right now, like I said, they've had no issues, no concerns. They understand it.
Okay.
They just ask that the money be in there for that. I guess the give and take is that the money is at least seasoned in that account for that period.
Uh huh.
If anything, to show that it's just not like I mentioned earlier. The example
Yeah.
of just like a screenshot POF. It's basically like the
Right.
money is sitting there. It's like if any lender were to go back and say, "Hey, Phil, I know you want this hard money, but let me see your last 3 months, last 3 years, right?" They want to see that money is
Mm
has been there for that period, not just a friend giving you some money or doing
hmm.
you a solid, showing you,
But
saying, yeah, or showing, hey,
yeah.
this here, but it really isn't there, right? So,
Okay. Okay. So that's very interesting. Okay. So the lender's okay with that,
yeah, again, I saw what I'm
and
saying. I same here too. When I got into the space, and again, I'm
yeah.
telling you, I tell everybody, we are 100% transparent.
Yeah.
There is no like, hey, you know what, we're this and that or whatever. No, we're basically transparent that this is who we are, and the lender, again, knock on wood, has approved it and accepted that these terms are okay with them to move forward
Okay.
with processing the loan. Yeah, it's
All right.
actually a line of credit is what they're getting.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Gotcha. They're actually getting a line of credit for maybe
exactly. It's a line of
their
credit. Yeah,
prop. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That makes more sense. But it's actually
or
not a
maybe that
lender that's
dynamic's a little different. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that dynamic's a little bit more different than actual lender funding a
exactly.
particular deal, like a PML deal in a sense
Correct,
or
correct.
whatever.
Yeah,
I
it's a
guess you
line
know.
of credit that they're securing with that money. Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't mind going into it, like tell me a little about, your past deals or the current deals you're working on right now and
Mhm.
kind of how how it relates.
So again, I've been in Gator since September 22, so for a long
Oh,
time. I'm with you. We're the
yeah.
OGs. You're the OG, but we're the OG. And basically, we did back when Gator was just your tradition, pretty much just a very simple EMD program. That's pretty much what
Yep.
it was, right? And then from there, I evolved along the way, just again, because I still have a W-2 that I'm in it, and it's a good paying job. But seriously, honestly,
Hmm.
brother, like, again, to go back to my why, I want
Yeah.
to divorce this so that I can have quality time to spend with those that I love, right, and do the things that I
Yeah.
want to do, and do more of this, right?
Right.
And So I evolved and I kind of pivoted into PML, did some PML stuff, right?
Hmm.
I won some and I lost some because I did the
Yeah.
stupid thing of chasing returns and not
Same.
building relationships, right? so,
Yeah. Yes.
so, but you learn from that, and then you take that experience for yourself, right? So you don't want to make the same mistakes. But now that I've been in Gator for so long and I've taken on this like leadership role, um, I'm using that experience to also teach newer ones not to make the same mistakes, right? I'm sharing that.
Yep.
And then again, that's one thing I won't go too deep. But I remember the first time I came across you was actually when
Yeah.
you were on Gator Talk or Gator Chat with Rob. We were back in the days
Uh-huh.
when Rob Sema had his little
Yeah.
Gator thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you were there and you were talking to us about how you market to with the VAs to get EMDs through Facebook and what kind of
Hmm.
ads you use or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But what really endeared me to you was when you were so transparent on your personal
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm like, bro, that's the kind of guy that I want to work with. Like,
Yeah.
again, to go back to the point where you're not scared to show your scars because the scars will help somebody else down the road, right? Because we
Yeah.
only learn from the losses, we don't learn from the wins. Like, that's
For
just the way it
sure.
is, right? So from there, just kind of trying to do the same thing. Hey, how can I help you? How can I be this? How can I be that? So
Yeah.
fast forward 2 years later, I have teams in place. I have a great team that we work on a lot of PML 3.0 stuff. So we do a lot
Hmm.
of the races for. If you want to get into traditional PML gap stuff, all that good stuff, we have a team for that. And then I have a great team that does a lot of this transactional stuff as well, the high end stuff, which is the
Yeah.
one that we discussed right now. So working on those team systems and scaling. And then me personally,
Yeah.
I want to start buying and holding creative deals. Like the reason why I joined this community, right? I want to build out the portfolio. My market is Puerto Rico, so I'm working hard and
Uh,
trying to get in Puerto Rico and do some things there. And actually, I got a cool mastermind set up at the end of February.
okay.
I'm going to take a lot of Gators and people with money to the island so they can see what the
Yeah.
opportunities are. And Jerry's actually already said, I'll be part of your mastermind. So he's
Oh,
going to
that's
be a guest
awesome.
speaker there. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's amazing. Okay. Um,
I'll see you
okay,
in
so
Puerto
that's
Rico end of February.
that's awesome, dude. So this okay, so you're working on a lot of different things right now. You're trying to have a lot of, things that you're trying to do, like leave your W-2 job in pursuit of lending and growing your business. As far as the equity sponsorship program, have you had any bad experience? Like tell me the good, bad, and ugly kind of side of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first one that we funded and that I raised on,
Hmm.
again, it didn't fund. So, and
Yeah.
again, but there was a lot of experiences and things that we had in place show that we were in the right direction, if that made sense, right?
Yeah.
Because and everything that I do now is, again, to go back to the example that I gave, that I chase returns opposed to chasing
Yeah.
opportunities. Is everything now is structured around securities, is protecting
Hmm.
your principal. That's number one. So that was the mindset that we had when we went into the first one: is how do we secure the capital? And then again, not leaving escrow was like, oh my god, this is ideal, right?
Hmm.
So we had our instructions and everything. There were some things that weren't in place to secure the funding of it, as in a pre-approval, things of that sort. Other things that now
Hmm.
I have in place, as you learn
Yeah.
from those and you kind of move on, right?
Yeah.
Um, Again, and also too is we told them that we perform at a certain time, and then the bank, I'm sorry, not the bank, the lender was ready to fund, but there was some issues, transactional issues between the borrower, and there was a transactional piece that they were trying to acquire something and the seller was having bickering, right? So there was some inner
Uh,
stuff or whatever it is. So we, again, first time going through it, we're like, bro, we told you 120. So
yeah.
if you guys can't figure it out on 120, we're out, right?
Yeah.
So we pulled out as promised at 120. Maybe if we would have stayed in longer, maybe it would have transacted. But again, we saw that our instructions performed. We
Yeah.
saw that the money was secure, and we're like, bro, this is awesome. This is
Yeah.
piece number one, right? Yeah, we didn't get the 30%. You didn't lose no money, but
Right.
we didn't. We didn't. We found a system that works.
Right.
So then we went around that and said our next three ones and said, all right, we got the security in place. How do we secure payment? How do we do this? So that's when we added the whole
Mm.
pre-approval process. If you don't have one, we're not going to move forward.
Oh.
Now we're asking the borrower to drop 10% non-refundable deposit, pretty much
Oh.
really put in skin in the game. Exactly. So if they don't perform for whatever reason, there's that bickering that I talked about.
Yeah.
I don't care, not my problem. We're taking that money. That's money. At least
Uh,
the Gators will get some kind of return during that
right.
time. So we've implemented these things as we learn from them.
So that 10%, is that 10% of the whole loan amount that you guys are bringing, or
No,
the
the
whole?
amount that they ask us to raise. So if it's
Oh, okay.
1.5, they're going to drop 150K
Oh,
deposit.
wow. That's amazing. So like if
Non-refundable.
they yeah, if they don't perform, like that's not your problem. That's part of the contract. Like you take that 150 and give it to your lenders basically
Correct.
for like a usage fee, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I call it damage fee or whatever it is. The fact that they went into this deal, their money was held up for 90 days, and they didn't get nothing out of it. Again, money was secure, but we're Gators. We're here to make
Yeah.
money, so we want to make some kind of capital.
Exactly. Okay. So that is an amazing structure. Okay, so how did you end up coming up just like out of my because I had an experience where a guy asked me to do something very similar to this. Like, hey, I need you to put money in escrow account. It's going to be safe and secure, and for X amount of days. And then once it basically is seasoned, then another set of funds will come in and replace your funds in escrow. And I didn't really know at the time like how to deal with that. I was asking around the Gator community. I like had no idea like who had done this before. But how did you end up kind of coming across this type of like transactional structure?
So it just was an opportunity that was brought to us, and
Uh
again,
huh.
as you out of left field, and we're like, oh, okay, this seems a little odd, a little different. But the
Yeah.
cool thing about us, especially myself, is I don't care how odd it is. I'll have a conversation with anybody. Like
Right.
I'm just curious to know. Hey, yeah, it doesn't mean I'm going to fund it, but hey, let's talk about it, right? Let's
Yeah.
see what we can do, right? So we had a conversation. We vetted the borrowers. We understood the borrowers. I felt really comfortable with the borrowers, which is rule number one for me now. Is
Yeah.
I bet on the jockey, not the horse, right? That's
Yeah.
number one.
Exactly.
So we went through that process, and then it was for a purchase of I think it was I forgot what it was, but it was yeah it was I think it was a winery. There was a
Oh
purchase of
wow.
something like that. Yeah. So again, we got into it. We got a hold of the lenders. We spoke to the lenders. So my way of getting into this was I was there to raise capital for it. So I
Hmm.
was asked to raise capital for it. And then when we looked at it and looked at the structure of it, again, me personally, and it was kind of selfish that I wanted to go deeper into this space because I'm in my
Sure.
W-2. I'm a
Yeah.
high income earner. It pays the bills, but I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
So I selfishly said, hey, you know what? If I can scale this thing and get into this arena and do this in multiples, right? I
Yeah.
can selfishly earmark some of my money and passively make money so I can leave this job and pay the bills and then do what
Right.
I want to do, right? So it was like a selfish reason that kind of motivated me to get in there, knowing
Hmm.
all that I know about Gator now, because I'm now two
Yeah.
years in and knowing the method and how to kind of
Yeah.
wedge ourselves into transactions, right? That's kind of what
Yeah.
Gators are. And so I went from there. Then I just went deep into that space, Phil. I just kind of said, okay,
Uh,
where is the need for these things? Like, is there
right.
really a need? Was this a one-off unicorn, or
Yeah.
is there really a need for these kind of things?
Yeah.
And when I got into that space, yeah, there is developers and those. There is a real need for
Oh.
these type of things and making the relationships. And that's what I'm good at. I'm good at networking and making connections. And I just started making connections from those individuals from the first one, and then just one led after another. And then
Okay.
we got together with a good team that does a lot of the acquisition for us, and brings the opportunities to us to
Okay.
to review. And then we decided whether we want to take it on, and then we kind of go from there. But again, that's phase one. But phase two is kind of cool. We're looking to do bigger and grander things, with this thing by bringing larger operators, larger groups into what we're doing. Which I've
Hmm.
had conversations about that. Which suppose that asking for only $1.5 $2 million proof of funds right now. I mean, these
Oh.
groups are asking for 5 10 million, which is a
Yeah.
lot larger. But they're a lot larger, projects that they're doing. And then also too to again give a shout out to our boy Pace. I mean,
Yeah.
the sub two concept started with what single family residences, and then it went to
Right.
multifamily, and now he's doing cars and just
Yeah.
like wherever he can do it, right? Let's do it, right? I'm trying to do the same thing with this program. I mean, wherever I can
Uh,
do a proof of funds and secure it the way that I have it secured, and the money never
right.
leaves, and it, dude, honestly, you can proof of funds, honestly, anything.
Anything.
I mean, that's
Uh,
kind of what I'm thinking about it too. So I can kind of, you know, plug and play this concept anywhere to be honest. And I've had conversations about doing even commodities, not trading, but like leveraging
oh.
the capital into commodities where we can sit there and do the same thing, put money in escrow. The seller will see that, we have the capital. They
Hmm.
send the gold over to the refinery. The refinery will melt it down, give a say, see how
Hmm.
quality it is. And then our refineries now, as you can imagine, gold is
Yeah.
in high demand.
Yeah.
They buy it right there and then, and pretty much we get our points off of that. So again, I haven't
Wow.
really broken down like the whole entire process, but again, to prove the point that you can make this work almost anywhere, and see how it goes. So I'm excited
That's
about futures and things like that. So
Yeah, I mean, so you kind of, as you were talking, it brought me to like maybe your perfect avatar, like as far as a customer. And developers are always in need of cash because they're starting new developments. And they need to stake money into their escrow account in order for the bank to release money. And then during that time, the you can basically make money from that initial
yeah,
funding.
being a
Yeah,
gator, yeah, just say, hey, look, man,
dude.
this is my service and my fee for doing or for doing the service. This is my fee for doing so. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
and
when you
you're
get into those rounds
yeah.
of larger capital,
Uh huh.
um, you know, 30% of the 1.5, which is what almost like half a mil, 450 is what they're going to
Sure.
pay our lenders. I mean, it's a lot of capital, but I tell people when you get into these developers that are it is when you get into those
Yeah.
larger numbers, these
Yeah.
people don't really walk over dollars to pick up pennies. They're like,
They
bro,
don't.
I know it's going to cost me money. I don't
Yeah.
care because I know what I'm going to get, you
In
know,
the back end.
by
Yeah.
doing this, right? And that's kind of the space that we're at. So it's kind of cool.
So how do you I guess market now? I know you have a couple of teams that you set up earlier. Do
Mhm.
you or just networking with other folks that may have
Correct.
connections with those types of individuals?
Correct. And then
Okay.
also with the borrowers that we currently funded, just building relationships with them and just kind of growing those organically too, because they have other products that they want to take off the ground and also,
Oh,
like a second project. So I'm like, hey, look, you saw what we did for your first project. You can just contract us again for a second one. So just kind of playing that relationship role. Well, again, it goes down to relationships,
yeah.
building
Yeah,
relationships
yeah.
and building that trust. Yeah.
And so, I for me, I have like a hard time lend or borrow raising like anything over 2 million bucks. Like, how do you do it? Like, is there a particular sauce secret ninja tip that you can like bestow upon
I
me?
wish I had ninjas, man. I mean, seriously, I wish I did. Honestly, but I think for me, the advantage for me, honestly, Phil, is
Yeah.
that I come from a sales and marketing background. So I'm
Mm.
a VP of sales,
Oh,
for
nice.
a medical supply company. Been doing it for 26 plus years.
Yeah.
So in everything that I do, even building relationships, I don't like to be transactional,
Yeah.
even though we're transactional lenders. I
Yeah.
like to build relationships. So that's kind of what I do, and I'm very transparent and open. I'm sometimes direct and maybe a little brash, and people are like, oh, but at
Sure.
least you know who I am, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna under promise. I'm not gonna over promise and under deliver. I'm gonna tell you whether
Yeah.
I can or cannot, right? That's kind of how I am.
Yeah.
So I just think people, just it attracts them,
Yeah.
and they see that I'm very, I can speak from within the community is
Sure.
that I'm very present, right? And
Hmm.
I'm there. And this is what I give. You want to call it my sales pitch or whatever it is, but I just tell people all the time, look at this is the person that I am. This is the kind of person you're going to be doing business with. And
Hmm.
this is the reason why I think that I can bring value to you guys. I've been at my
Yeah.
job for 26 years. Ups and downs, yes, but I'm still there, right?
Yeah.
I've been with my wife for 30 years, married 27. Ups and
Nice.
downs, yes, but I'm still there. I've been in Gator from the jump, almost
Yep.
2 years ago. Ups and downs, yes, but I'm still here.
Yep.
Meaning that whatever we get into, Zoe ain't going nowhere, right?
Right.
Like I got your back all the way through. I'm that bison that turns into the storm and goes head on opposed to going the other
Nice.
way. And I think in what we're doing, Phil, and you know this,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's all we need. That's all we want as lenders. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, like you have great intentions and you care about me and my money and my family opposed to like, hey, real quick, make a couple of bucks, connect you, and then I'm out, right? No,
Yeah.
that's the opposite. And especially when things go a little south, as they will, because some things are out of our control.
Right.
If you have that open line of communication and know the kind of person you are, it just makes it a little bit easier. Even though it doesn't change the circumstances, it just makes it easier. And we have a bunch of adults in the same room trying to
Mm.
find solutions opposed to pointing fingers like, well,
Yeah.
you. So I guess that's the secret sauce is just really just trying to like really honestly, like
Yeah.
after every call that I had with Gators and they asked me like, Zoe, how can I like what's the purpose for this call or why or how can I bring you
Yeah.
value? I'm like, bro, this is not a sales pitch or a sales call. I
Yeah.
literally want to see if I can make a friend at the end of this conversation. And if I
Yeah.
can, then the money part is easy. We'll make
Right.
money. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
do we want to work with each other and do we mesh? That's kind of I guess that's my secret sauce. So there really isn't, you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Just be yourself, basically, is what you're telling
Honestly,
me.
bro,
Yeah.
honestly, that's and then knock
Yeah.
on wood, it's gotten me in trouble. It has,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
also has gotten me out of trouble. So it is what it is, you know. So
Okay. Did you have a particular? Because I know raising that kind of capital takes a lot of like banging the doors, like saying the
mhm.
message over and over again. Do you have that kind of repeat posting or like just kind of like putting it out there like on a daily basis?
Well, I haven't done that. So that's one
Yeah.
thing because I want to keep this program until I get some teeth on it and it blows up,
Okay.
with our team.
Yeah.
So I got
Yeah.
to be more of a like an exclusive
Sure.
type, thing. So we do have some individuals that we've done deals before.
Hmm.
I can't take all the credit for the raising. I got great people
Sure.
on my team that do raising as well. Have great relationships. They trust us, and then
Uh huh.
again, we're just like, hey, we get the proof of concept, and then from there, the program itself will sell itself, right?
Mm.
And then we've been able to raise organically, which is a good thing. But as we start
Yeah.
adding on these new borrowers and new groups, it's going to be something that maybe, it's going to be a
Yeah.
larger undertaking. But the cool thing is like, as we scale it, individuals see it, and
Mm.
this is one reason too. Like for I mentioned the selfish reason why I wanted to scale this thing because I want to put money in there and
Yeah.
retire and pay my bills. Honestly, the individuals that I've sought out, that I've given opportunities to come into this program, have been a lot of individuals that in my encountering them and just doing
Mm.
my gator outreach, that they've had too many losses. Like they've
Mm.
lost.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can I get them back in the win column? Like,
Yeah. The
like how can I get them a win? So those have been like the first calls. Hey, look, I got this cool program, very secure. Take a look at it, of course. And I
yeah.
want to get you back in the win column. So it's kind of been that way initially.
Hmm.
But as it starts getting teeth,
Yeah.
it'll circulate and be like, oh, you know what, you got this cool program. How can I get in? So we have a lot of people now that want in, and we're basically saying like, you know what, there are going to be more opportunities, but we have these individuals that have already proven and trusted us that we're going to give them first rights to come back in other ones because
Hmm.
again, we basically want to be like banks as we all should,
Yeah.
and I want to work with just again an exclusive group that I feel comfortable with. Like, I look at,
Right.
I'm not here looking to kill it and make a
Yeah.
whole lot of money. I just want to pay my bills and move forward and just make cool deals with cool people, man. Seriously,
Yeah.
and I'm always open to grow and expand 100%. But
Right.
as we go through this process, and you know this,
Yep.
um, after 2 years of it, uh, now I do things with intention, opposed to
Yeah.
just going out there all willy nilly. Like I'm just like
Yeah.
now it's with intention, right? So when I make that
Yeah.
connection, it's with intention. If I take that call, it's with intention. It's not just like
Yeah.
before when I was just trying to talk to everybody and anybody. Now it's like I'll talk to you, but it's got to be because I'm a people pleaser, so it's got to be
Sure. Yeah. Same.
yeah, it's got
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
a win-win for both. So
Exactly. So Zoe, we're coming up on time here real quick.
yeah,
How can people get a hold of, or if they're interested in investing with you, how can they get a hold of your what you're doing?
yeah, you can reach me all over the place. So my cell phone number is the best way to get a hold of me, which I have no problem sharing.
You sure about that?
Um, my cell phone.
You sure
I
about
know.
that?
Or you can reach me. You can reach me on Facebook. Through
Yeah.
the direct pages through Gator or whatever it might be, or just Zo Guzman at Facebook. You can't
Mhm.
miss this mug. You'll see me there.
Yeah.
And then also on Instagram, I go by Zo Knows, which is Zo underscore knows underscore. So
Okay.
either way there, just shoot me a message. I'd love to connect and see how we can make some cash together.
Yeah.
See how we can help one another.
I'll have that in the show notes, guys. So don't worry about it if you kind of are driving or whatever. Just I'll have that in the show notes. Any last words, Zoe, before we let you go, brother?
Again, I just want to thank you for the
Yeah, bro.
platform.
Thank
Like
you.
you don't understand. I feel like seriously, like when there are certain people in my journey, and
Yeah.
we not had that direct
Right.
connection, But again, I just gave the example of just you just being so just open, to your
Yeah.
past and what you've gone through and where you're at now and what you're trying to do is, honestly, just have that connection. Speak to everybody and anyone. You know what? Take the blinders off. Again, I talk to everybody. My wife hates it, but I do. You don't know who that person is going to do to you or for you. You don't know if it's going to be a connection. You don't know if it's going to
Yeah.
be a partner. You don't know if it's going to be just someone who can just maybe get your mindset right, right? So I just say, look, just be open
Yeah.
to anything. That's the great thing I love about this community,
Mm.
and what Pace has created is that if you allow yourself to get in those rooms that he talks about, right, and hear
Hmm.
what's being spoken, bro, it can open your mind. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like just be present. Like just lead with value and be present, and you'll be successful. And just show up. just show
Right.
up and be consistent and give people your time, which for me, as you know, is more valuable than cash.
It is.
If you want to give me your time, I see that and I'll repay you 1,000%. Not only me, but others like yourself in the community that repay those that show up and say, "Hey, I'm here to work. I don't know what I'm going to do, but you got me, and let's see what we can do." I respect that.
Perfect, man. Thank you so much. Hey, ladies and gents, that's so. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Peace out.